so much interest in the semiconductor industry lately. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that there's been a global attention on this. As I just mentioned, we've had several cabinet-level U.S. secretaries come and talk about the importance of the semiconductor, the Philippines as part of that supply chain. What is going on, do you think?
Well, you might say it started back in November when the president made a trip to the U.S. for the APEC meetings, but on the side, we met with the Semiconductor Industry Association, and basically the president encouraged them to continue to invest in the back-end assembly, test, and packaging, but also explore moving up the value chain to integrated circuit design, and also a semiconductor wafer fab. And then after that, we went to Prague a couple of weeks ago, and as was mentioned, we signed an MOU with the biggest electronics organization in the Czech Republic, basically to promote trade. They're not really, they do have one wafer fab there, but not so big that what we wanted to do was actually develop the relationship and promote trade, because not much trade going on between the Philippines and the Czech Republic. Then after that, Secretary Fred Pascual and I went to Brussels to look at the semiconductor wafer fab, because all this talk you hear about semiconductors and the chip business in the Philippines is centered around assembly, test, and packaging, which is our strength today. In fact, the $49 billion export we have, 70% of that is in semiconductors, which is really the chips. But we want to go up to the semiconductor wafer fab, which is actually the front end, which I used to do in Silicon Valley for 16 years. And so I think that's the path that we should take, and I'm glad that the President and Secretary Go and Secretary Pascual and even Secretary Solidum of the DOS, they're on the same page.
We actually have that chart showing that semiconductor and electronics exports are the top merchandise exports of the Philippines, 58.2%. According to PSA data, does that look accurate to you? You said it was $45 billion, right? In recent years, though, has that been growing significantly, or it's just been chugging along?
In 2022, we actually hit a record 49.6 or $49.3 billion, which is 62% of our commodity exports. But in 2023, we contracted by about 8% because of global conditions, recession, the geopolitical conditions, and all that. But while we predicted the flat growth this year, we're actually looking at the modest growth. In fact, if you look at the global trends, Q1 pretends, you know, modest growth, about 5%, but hopefully we'll get back to the original growth pattern we have globally, maybe 5 to 6% in 2024.